jab, uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out there more. Claim that you're the best. You gotta show me, son. Actions over words, baby boy. Is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports,
Yo, shout out to the hottest chat in the MF and game. A side official. No negotiations needed, period. You already know WCS is the first in the building. Shout out to everyone that's in the chat. Salute to you. Let's get down to it, man. I want to really run through these reactions right quick. I just picked some channels, right? Because they have the Norman Ennis Norman Mania going on. I mean, they have the YTC Ennis Norman Ennis Mania going on. And as I say all the time, when they try to bring out the YTBC, I said death to the YTBC because it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. In order for you to have a YTBC, there has to be some type of organization, some type of business orientation. There has to be some type of education, some type of positions, role players that are making these fights happen. No, not just regional fights, not these regionals, because we know they can be made at the drop of a hat. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the high dollar bill fight. The YTC would be considered a journeyman when it comes to trying to make big fights, because no matter what the traction is on here, people can yap, talk. But the results aren't there. I mean, all the time and effort put into all the live streams and debates and all this about who, what, when, and why. Boy, this is like an anthill for real. The YTC, when it comes to boxing business, you have a lot of individuals who are unqualified to actually make a fight happen on this YTC. They're qualified to set up a live stream. You know what I'm saying? They qualified to create a thumbnail. They qualified to pretty much know how to access an app, streaming service. You know, make sure they auto renew is on there so they can continue to make live streams. But when it comes to making $1 million fight, I remember. Correct me if I'm wrong. I remember when the infamous tell on the donkey's ass. The story came out of Newark, and people was up here believing, oh man, we'll be able to tell our kids that we made the Bud Crawford fight. The Bud Crawford-Jerron Ennis fight. Multi-million-dollar fight. Do y'all remember that? Y'all remember that telltale fail that you know that individual put out there and try to make it seem like BLK is gonna make this fight? I'm telling you, the YTC stay taking L's when it comes to talking about big fights being made. They stay taking L's. I swear to God, yo. The YTC, man, just quit. Just quit trying to make these $1 million fights, man. I think y'all do more harm than good. You know what I'm saying? Let me get to Bushido boxing. And these are just reactions because a lot of people, I mean, it's just too many to talk. A lot of people are talking about this fight, especially since the numbers have been played out, which is a no-no. The numbers have been played out to the general public, and everybody feels invigorated. What did WCS always say? You know what I'm saying? When it was the Errol Spence and Crawford fight the first time, and you know they was acting like they was managers. You know what I'm saying? Unemployed life coaches. You had all these people talking about it as if they was table sitters. You know what I'm saying? The ones that was negotiating, or they was turning to them for advice when that whole debacle was going on. They was talking about numbers and numbers. And you know why you see so many live streams talking about this? Hold on for a second. You know why you see hear so many live streams talking about this fight? Because the numbers are out there. Now when you have the numbers, people try to sit up here and provide a value based off their opinions and a lack of expertise, y'all. They want to grab hold of those numbers and say, if it was me. Now I know how certain individuals, gonna have their own opinions. That's just the way it is. Public opinion is just so erratic, what I'm saying, inconsistent. You know, I mean, to try to um, filter through what's truth and lies, man. You know what I'm saying? What's neutral and what's biased. Let's get to this first audio with Bushido the Dragon, Bushido Boxing. He did his take and said that Brian Norman Jr. really want to fight with Jerome Ennis? Question mark. I thought he made some solid points. I didn't think he was over the top with some of these people. The way they've been going off about it, but you know they all in the media, man. You cannot come on here and nobody's it's not a live stream up about this. You know why? Because the boxing community was bored. The boxing community feel like they can pretend to be a CFO now. They have numbers. They can put a face with the numbers. They have fine details, in my opinion, that never should have been released to the public. Because these unqualified individuals, they're going to hold you to that for years. Well, back in 2024, see, back then I was already on the YTC 8 solid years. So I knew about this topic once it surfaced. And when I heard that the numbers was like that and the fight wasn't made, I said, time out. Boxing is a business.
And then towards the end of the negotiations with Jerome Ennis, it's alleged they wanted like 2 million, uppers of 2 million, or something crazy like that, right? A significant jump. If you ask me, they priced themselves out of the fight, bro. They priced themselves out of the fight. Why? Because Jerome Boots Ennis himself probably barely making 2 million plus a fight.
See how he made a point for both sides? He said, hey, I believe he priced himself out of the fight. But then he gave a reason quite different than what people was expecting. He said, well, if you look at Ennis, he ain't made no high payday either. But for me, I look at it like it's not up to me. I'm not with the management team. But I did appreciate how he just dichotomized this breakdown on what he think about both sides. You know what I'm saying? One side not making, a higher payday like he should, whatever. And the fact that, he felt that the Normans priced themselves out. But on the middle of it, in the middle of that, right? When you're talking about drawing the line, it's a big fight. It's not just any fight. It's a unified fight. It's a championship fight. There are fees that have to be paid. Amongst everything else you heard already, we already know the sanctioning fees that has to be paid. We already know Uncle Sam would definitely get paid. We have to understand that everything else that's associated with these deductions have to be paid. But I do like that it was mentioned that Ennis has never really made no high payday for this particular fight either. But I can understand where Hearns is coming from. Hearns is like, well, we're the ones who is signing the checks. We're the ones who's somewhat working as the A side would to a point. They are. So therefore, when it comes to resumes balancing out, pretty much damn near equal. You know what I'm saying? It's not one fighter that's gapping the other. Let's get back to this audio.
You know what I'm saying? John Boots Ennis himself just really became a world champion. John Boots Ennis himself isn't necessarily a main event attraction, a guy who's packing a house. None of that has been proven yet.
And you can't, hey, Bushido, you can't tell the Ennis fans that. You cannot tell the Ennis fans that Jerron has never packed out the house. He ain't packing out the house consistently. Now, the Wells Fargo, it seemed to be packed. You know what I'm saying? It seems like there was a pretty decent amount of patrons or consumers, boxing consumers there in the house, Philly fans in the building on deck. But consistently, we're talking about him being on the undercard as a co-main event with Tank when he fought Corinne. It wasn't all that. Then you fought Ramon Villa. Okay, I mean, that's work to do.
So for them to up the ante and want double of what they originally wanted, I would say they priced themselves out of that fucking fight, bro. And they didn't do nothing but rob boxing fans of a great matchup. A matchup to where we could really see what Jerron Boots Ennis is at against a younger fighter that got something. You know what I'm saying? And the Normans themselves know that if Jerron Boots Ennis don't want to play hardball with him, well, they know Jerron Boots Ennis is talking about going up to 154 pounds. They know that Jerron Boots Ennis is in a situation where he got to deal with Karen Kukuchan. It's not nothing that, it's just not a good situation for Boots.
Do y'all remember when WCS was saying that Jerron Ennis wasn't going to be a welterweight too long? So, do you remember? It's out there. God knows it's out there. God knows it's out there. Do you remember when I said that it's hard for me to see him stand at 147 to get these belts because they're all scattered. There's one belt per champion in each of the 4 sanctioning bodies. So it's definitely going to take some calendar years for Ennis to make these fights happen. And then you come up here and you can't lock in the fight. Let me tell you, like I always say about my people. You got 2 black fighters, man. There's everybody that's being spoken about from a lot of people on here. I always mention Teofimo Lopez because he was able to do it. They was trying to say that same talk about Teo when he was going in there with Lomachenko. And people, they always want to say WCS, that's old news. It's relevant to the day. Because Teo did the exact same thing when he was fighting Lomachenko on free TV. He negotiated. He won. He got his money. So what's the difference between Norman doing it? I don't care who knows who. I don't care about who's more popular. Why was it good for Teofimo Lopez to do it when he faced Loma? But just because this, stand your ground doing negotiation is considered to be bad.
Because the Normans have the leverage. And if Boots moves up, then that opens up the weight class for the Normans to reign supreme.
Hey, I told you all Boots was a big 54. He's 27 years old. He wasn't doing too much of anything coming up through the ranks, especially at 147. Lipinets was from a lighter division. Yeah, he had several fights at 147, but he wasn't necessarily an imposing contender at 147. That's why he departed. You know what I'm saying? As we call it in the military, when we go duty station to duty station, he PCS'd. You know what I'm saying? He PCS'd his ass back down to 140. Now you have a huge problem that they're just skipping over in this whole scenario. And that was a solid point Bushido made in recognizing that Boots potentially may not be at 147 pounds anyway. Anyway, because you know what the fans are going to say. If he has a hard weight cut and he goes in here and he can't maintain the pace, it's a reason why Boots a freaking, he'll put on a spurt, he'll gas it, and then he'll definitely just pause for a second and let the windows down. You know what I'm saying? If it's a manual, he'll throw that shit in neutral and just hang out on the ropes for a little bit and let the wind hit him and take in that oxygen. Sip on some water, and then roll the windows up again and goddamn press on the gas, throw that shit in third and wild out for a minute, and then pace itself and do the same thing over and over. Repeat. Maybe his cardio is not where it's supposed to be at 147 pounds. But when it comes to this fight right here, it's just hard for me. Look, what I wanted to happen, I wanted the fight to happen because it deals with, sparking up the 147-pound division again, just like we just witnessed. It took us so many years to make that fight happen. I said I'm just talking about the talk, the banter that we was a part of on this YTC. It took so long. The YTC didn't have shit to do with it. I'm just saying it took so long with us talking about it. You know what I'm saying? Over and over again. People getting angry with people. People switching sides. People, heavy on this side, heavy on that side. Now, you have another dilemma. We just had the old guard move on. We have the new guard. And we're trying to get some freaking order in the 147. We're trying to get some designation. We're trying to assign billets. Who is the king? Who's going to take the first step as the king at 147 pounds? So we had our first negotiation for potential unification, and it just fell off the side of the boat quick. I will repeat to you all, boxing is not the only sport that I pay attention to. I do pay attention to BJJ tournaments and MMA. Boxing bores me a lot. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you wants to pay attention to a lot of the banter that's going on via the YTC, which is considered a journeyman when it comes to making fights. The YTC is and freaking 3,062, 100,000 when it comes to making fights, bro. I guess it's just knowing that you have the presence of mind to talk about a topic, and depending on who you are, what your knowledge you can gather, to sit up here and talk. I heard that guy, first of all, I heard Adrian on the TBV and he was talking some numbers, and he's actually, one of the hitters that's with a team. He's one of the managers of a team. You know what I'm saying? He's Brian Norman's manager. But he went on TBV and said what he said. I'm not going to break down all the numbers he said. But there was somebody who corrected him who's freaking, doing the negotiation. And I'm saying to myself, if you correcting him, what he meant to say was 25. And then everybody's percentage ain't the same. And, just because they'll say, like they used to say, Al was getting 30%. And then you ask somebody else, Al's getting 20%. Then somebody else maybe 25%. But all I'm saying is, if you're correcting somebody that's actually a part of a team, that's his professional position, obviously he would know the numbers. And it just irks me when people try to correct individuals that's actually on the dance floor. You know what I'm saying? When they get up in the morning, you know what I'm saying? And their job consists of boxing. You know what I'm saying? Fighters under their charge. So the YTC shouldn't be up here trying to correct just to make yourself seem like you're in the position. A lot of you dudes ain't in position to talk about anything. Let me get to the next one. Let me get to the next one right quick. And salute to everyone that's on deck. Make sure you hit that button. I would appreciate it. And that was Bushido Boxing. Salute to him. That was his audio. Next, I'm using the I'm transitioning to Mill City. Mill City has this dynamic that's going on. That he's able to, have he's a very how to put it. He's a solid mediator. He will have people on some controversial stuff sometime or some trash talking, but yet it's not as disrespectful as it would be on other channels. He don't really too much involve himself in there. So he has a dynamic going on. He has a pretty nice how to put it. He has a pretty nice format on how he engages with these panels. But anyway, he's had all the people like time something pop off, even on X or whatever, the phone call is being made. And recently for him, he had Rashidi Ellis on there. You know what I'm saying? He had Mickey Bay. He had all these people to give their opinion. He had Norman Sr. He had all that. But Rashidi Ellis, I had to mention him because he's at 147 pounds. But the reason why I'm bringing him to the light, because what we do understand about today's media via the YTC is that it's just a transient station. You know what I'm saying? The YTC is just a media transient station for clouters. Yeah, you heard it from me. They're called clouters. Everybody take the opportunity to hop on the rail system, the YTC transient rail system, and they try to go to where they at. So if you have easy access on these panels, it gives you a minute to have some clout.
I heard the motherfuckers talk about Norman, but let me get that work, man. Let me get that easy work, man.
Easy.
So he said, "Let me get that easy work." And Rashidi, I have nothing against you. I really don't know you like that. But let's listen to this again.
I heard the motherfuckers talk about Norman, but let me get that work, man. Let me get that easy work, man.
Easy.
So whatever whatever they was negotiating for Ennis, they wouldn't have to go through all that energy with Rashidi. Real talk. Because, prior to, it was some good things said about him, by Senior. But all I want to do is, I don't blame Rashidi for being a clouder. You know what I'm saying? For being a clouder and jumping in here. Because he's been out the ring since last January. You know what I'm saying? He's been out for several freaking months, yo. So why wouldn't he come out of the barrel into the light? You know what I'm saying? Just like a African groundhog, and say, "Here I go. I'm still alive. I'm here." He inserts himself in the picture, which, I wouldn't say it was solid entertainment, because nobody was gonna believe like the Normans would take a Rashidi Ellis fight when they was negotiating hard for an Ennis fight. Even though people own Norman for fighting Cuevas 1000 premium, but still, at the end of the day, he chose to come on here and say some easy work. So, I happen to, go into my composition boxing notebook, and I start to remove some leaflets, and Rashidi Ellis, right? He had one fight in 2022. His fight in 2022 was July 2022, and then he came back for Ramon Villa in January 2023. He had no fight in 21, and he fought October 2020. I mean, look, the gaps is just crazy. And then in 2019, he had one fight. 2018, he had 3 fights. 1 fight in 2017. 3 fights in 2016. 1 fight in 20. Anyway, for what I'm saying is, like, bro, I like Rashidi Elliot's fighting style. It seems like you was being a clouder. You was at the station and you took the opportunity to go to the easiest freaking turnstile you possibly can, and you wanted to go to Mill City. And it was good because Mill City is popping. You know what I'm saying? He has all the big names on there. Shout out to Mill City. You know what I'm saying? But one person that never should have been granted that motherfucking access ticket was Rashidi Ellis, because you had a common opponent of Jerron Ennis, and you lost the majority decision. And you haven't been in the ring since January 2023, brother. So I don't know where the easy work is coming from. I don't know. But let me go to the next audio. Shout out to Mill City Boxing. You know what I'm saying? Doing an outstanding job over there. And this is part of his audio too. I find this a bit humorous and listen to all this audio. You know what I'm saying? I could go extreme grave detail on these audios, but I'm not, you know what I'm saying? Not today. But let's get to when Norman Sr. Had his dialogue, his exchange with Rashidi Ellis.
Hand back. Let me take this hand back and let me cook it.
He fought David Benavidez.
Okay, so with Rashidi, I said, whoever I told, yeah, now we'll give him a shot. We'll do this and we'll do that. And I heard the question asked by Mill. They was like, I think somebody said that they told him that we would. He was like, nah, he just talking shit. I don't think he for real with it. First of all, I'm very, see, that's what's so the problem with the world today is they don't understand what real and fake is. I don't do this shit y'all young motherfuckers do. I don't know how to lie, bro. I tell the fucking truth. That's whether it's good or bad. Because
but then again, I don't know you, so I just assume y'all just talking shit. So I'm just saying what I think.
I ain't nobody talking shit. If I say something, I'm gonna do it. Check it out. Fast forward. The disrespect. Let me get that easy work. All that bullshit right there. Well, you know what? Let me take back what I said. Wait. So I say, you know what? I peeped that. Like, oh, I lend my hand to him. He bite that motherfucker and come on with it. Yeah, let me get that easy work.
Look, one thing I can say at this point in time with everything that's going on with this black fighters exposure, real talk. Let's be clear. We have extreme exposure for 2 black fighters that you rarely see. Like, it must be a protest or a strike going on with Mexican fighters. Because, you know, the only other black fighters I seen getting this much pressure, you know, drum roll, no, bring out the flute. It was Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford, okay? These 2 fighters getting this exposure is crazy right now. It's crazy. So, you know, when Rashidi Ellis wanna, you know, come in and get his ticket to jump the, you know, to catch the rail system, you know, I'm like, it's not that bad, but it is, because, you know, Ramon Villa, you know, and before that fight, you was going at Jerron Ennis, and since then, you know what I'm saying, the beef that you thought you had with Jerron Ennis never blossomed into the cactus that you was hoping it would and drew blood. So I don't know what you've been doing to even get this airplay when really the people who was negotiating was freaking Norman and Ennis. You know what I'm saying? They was the 2 negotiating. So I don't see the purpose of this live. You know, I mean, it just comes out of nowhere and joins in, knowing damn well if Norman was to fight Rashidi, it wouldn't make a difference, because dude been out the ring like 17 freaking months again.
Let me get, and these niggas on here like they cooking me and shit, like, oh, they cooking my son. Like they cooking my son and shit. I'm like, oh, that thing, that's what it is. Well, I tell you what, let me take this hand back. And let me cook his sorry ass for a minute. You got a motherfucker that's been in boxing since 2013. He's 31 motherfucking years old. My son was 12 years old when your ass went pro.
God damn. See, that's why you don't jump your ass on here unless you have, them special boots. When people hear you coming, like we used to march in the military, and you used to drive them hills. You know what I'm saying? Let them know where you from. You used to run that cadence, left foot. Hello, hello, brother, left. They hear you, them motherfucker clacking them heels on the ground. Love, right. Right and left, right and left foot, right and low, right and left. Man, you hear them cracking them boots. I mean, if Rashidi would have been in the ring against a well-named opponent, and when he selected to be a clouder, then I can see. But you picked the wrong time to come in here because it's such a freaking whirlwind that this fight is not even happening right now. That's what everybody's talking about. You can't go from an Ennis Norman to a Ellis who lost to Ramon Villa, who was stopped by Ennis. We can't do that. We cannot do that and try to say, well, I want to come in here after a hard negotiation and I'll get that easy work with Norman. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, if Ennis wasn't involved in the situation, let's just say Ennis was at 154 and Rashidi was up in the rankings enough to be a part of the convo, then yeah. You know what I'm saying? But let's see what else has to be said.
12, motherfucker. You've been in boxing since 2013. And now here it is, 8 years later. I'm sorry, 11 years later. 11 years later, my son did what you've been trying to do for 11 fucking years. He did it.
I just had to play this because this is a down south barbecue, goddammit. I'm just saying, you know how WCS, you know what I'm saying? That people leave because I ain't handing out headstones no more. That the Reaper is not around. It's still around, but some people don't deserve the darkness. But this right here, he's getting cooked, roasted, filleted. Damn. I mean, I like a good roasting session. I do. I like a good. When you walk into a restaurant, you smell that meat cooking, especially some rotisserie. You know what I'm saying? You smell that pork, you smell that beef, that chicken, all the spices and everything. It ain't nothing like a good roast. And see, Rashidi, you got destroyed. Jumping into the air. Two fighters that are currently champions, and you try to say, let me go in here and get some of this freaking airtime too. All airtime ain't meant to be breathed and inhaled and exhaled, brother. Every oxygen tank is not there for you. Damn, he said he did what you've been trying to do. And it's not the fact that Rashid is a bad fighter. And that's when it comes into like, whoever you have on your team and everything, right? But when I heard this, I was pandering. You know what I'm saying? I was pandering the freaking the septic tank of media. I was just seeing and listening and stuff like that. And then I have to come across this. I say, God damn. I think that's the worst I've heard a boxer get roasted with some straight, legitimate, down the line facts off somebody like Rashidi who's had all these hiatuses. Once again, I'm not saying I don't dislike Rashidi at all, but sometimes you just need to leave yourself out. You know what I'm saying? You just need to leave yourself out of the equation. No matter how good you are at math, no matter where you at in the rankings, if you see somebody you know that you say, okay, he easy work. Well, you need to do your homework. Some boxers don't do their homework to suggest that you will get this shotgun slug to the motherfucking chest. That shit was brutal, man. I gotta hit that again, man. Once again, this is Mill City's audio.
Years later, my son did what you've been trying to do for 11 fucking years. He did it since he got in box when he was 17 years old. He went pro when he was 17 years old. Fuck you and your goddamn chance. Make your way up. You are not ranked anywhere. You're not.
Damn. I just had to play that. That was some motherfucking goddamn freaking some napalm, Rashidi. Let me see what Rashidi Ellis's reply is. I just like a section. I know I'm talking about freaking YTC, and they'll never make $1 million fight, but they can make a $1,000 fight. They can make some $100 there. Shit, they ain't gonna make no $1 million fight.
Ranked in nothing. You're not ranked in nothing, sir. How are you not ranked nowhere? Nowhere.
Like I was ranked on the top season for and shit. Like what?
You're not ranked anywhere.
I've been inactive, but once I get back, I bet you I'll tap your son. I'll beat your son's ass. Easy way.
Can't even get there. You can't even get a shot. What are you talking about? You got to make it there. Make it there. What year? It's been 11 years. What year you gonna make it there?
Damn, this is just bad. Somebody please tell Rashidi, do attend another freaking live stream. You know what I'm saying? Mill City just sitting up there like the president. He just sitting up there chilling, man. He know he should have pulled the plug on Rashidi. He's like, well, it's good content. You know what I'm saying? Let me see what the video's sitting at. It got 10K views already. So it's making his circulation. It's making his rotation. I ain't gonna lie. It's doing his numbers. You know what I'm saying? But man, he should just say, yeah, you made a good point. But hey, Rashidi, I'm gonna get back to you. I have some other people that's lined up to jump on the panel. This was a motherfucking cremation, yo. Somebody called a mortician to goddamn come and get the body. This was a goddamn cremation. You never should have came in here tomorrow. Yeah, I've been inactive, but you know, when I get back, I bet I'll tap your son. When you get back, when is that? You've been out since January 2023, dog.
What year you gonna make it?
What?
What year are you gonna make it? It's been 11 years. You've been
2025,
nigga. For 11 years.
2025, nigga. Pull up. 2025.
I ain't pulling up nowhere.
Genius.
He said, pull up. What the fuck? Look, I'm going to give him the same thing that I told Ennis. When Ennis said, hey, Crawford, we got your belt. Come get it. I'll tell you the same thing, Rashidi. That is the dumbest shit you can say. You think a champion is going to pull up to you? I know it's just common language and you just talking your shit. Real talk. And I know Rashidi, you know, he seemed like a good guy, man. I ain't never, you know, had nothing negative to say. But today, you should have took a different route. You took the business route. Your ass should have been on the fucking highway. You never should have took that exit and said, let me take the Mill City exit. Man, I see him goddamn having all these freaking, you know, all these people on here talking about Norman and Ennis and Ennis and Norman and Norman and Ennis and Ennis. Let me pull up. And let me say, oh yeah, you know, let me get that work, that easy work. And then you had the nerve to jump back on the live again, knowing that what you said, people was dropping links. Oh, Norman said, look, what? That's all they wanted to do. That's all they've been doing, dropping motherfucking links, bro. This is the most snitching ass freaking community you would ever know, bro.
Yeah, senior, so check it out, right? So check it. Remember, if he won that Villa fight, right, he was gonna fight Boots, the fight that you guys are locking in right now.
Hey, guess what? You mean if?
This is, look, you can't say, you know, I might not catch everything. And shout out to the ones who be dropping me shit behind the scene. I appreciate y'all. You know what I'm saying? One love. You know, it's people that be running in the shit, be dropping me shit behind the scene. I truly appreciate it. But I had time today because I really wasn't going to go live. I said, man, I'm just going to take time and opportunity to listen to some stuff. You know what I'm saying? I found this one. I say, you know what? Mill City be having some hilarious exchanges on there, man. For real. He knows how to mediate. I can't mediate like that. I don't come on camera often. It's just not something I want to do, man. But this was hilarious, bro.
If I was rich. Motherfucker, motherfucker, if I was a girl, like what the fuck if? What the fuck if? It's a whole bunch of ifs.
Yeah.
If don't mean shit. If don't mean shit, but the man has had a chance to prove it. He can't even get signed to anybody, bro. I asked the
Ooh, God damn. Mill City, if you're listening, you have to, if you're gonna be the mediator, you have to end up being the bailiff, dog. You have to escort Rashidi to another cell. You need to escort him to the holding cell to be processed out the grounds into the parking lot. Okay, your visitation is up. No, but I got another 30. No, your visitation is up for your own health. You know what I'm saying? And your protection. To ever get a fight and people want to see you again, you need to leave the premises ASAP. Okay, there, Rashidi? Because this is just a, oh my God.
The question to the guy that was on, said, he signed anybody? And I was like, well, look, I was being very respectful. Whoever I was talking to on the X Spaces, I was being very respectful and I was being very genuine. I was like, well, who he signed to?
I don't know anything about that. I wasn't on
it. Was it was one of your partners speaking on your behalf, and it was very calm and very cool. Listen, so I'm being very respectful and cool. So I was like, nah, who he signed to? They were like, well, he not signed nobody else, but he got something coming up. All right, we're cool with shit. Maybe if he can work it out and we, you know what I'm saying, maybe we can work it out if he can get signed to somebody or we can get him, you know, to be somebody that doesn't, yeah, we'll reach back because I believe everybody deserves a change. That's what I said. Because again, I'm just a genuine dude and I really do believe that shit. But you don't come on with the disrespect. Oh, yeah, let me get that work. When nigga ain't nobody ever said your name, motherfucker. We ain't never said your name. God, who the fuck are you? We ain't never said your Rashidi Ellis. Who did Rashidi Ellis be? He be Alexa. Wait. Let's say who Rashidi Ellis is. He's the guy that made a unanimous decision against.
Hey, Mill City. I mean, Mill City had a body today. I ain't gonna lie, bro. This was a homicide. I'm not gonna lie, and it wasn't even like it was. You know, when you hear a bitch ass this, the nigga word dropped and all that, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't even that. It was just straight up criteria based off shit that matters when you're talking about linking two fighters up for them to make money together. Like, especially when you say easy work. Let me get that Brian Norman easy work. He knew what was going to come with it, but he just underestimated what the weather report was. When he said it was sunny outside, and all of a sudden motherfucker went back out there and it was cloudy. And you know, you know how you see lightning without the thunder? Yeah. You don't need too much explanation about what's about to come. You know what I'm saying? That's what Rashidi in right now. I mean, Rashidi, man, Mill City should just say time out. You know, the weather's not that good over here. I don't want to lose the connection or whatever. Rashidi, the guard is going to escort you to the gate. Hey, come back next time. I'll hit you up behind the scenes. Come back next time, okay? Just get him up out of there, bro. You know what I'm saying? Instead of calling the fire department, get him up out of there, bro. You know what I'm saying? Just get him up out of there. Dude has been on fire for many minutes doing this live stream. And everything that's going to come back to hunt him is the fact that it's straight up criteria that pertains to him. How long he been out the ring. He ain't signing nobody. You know what I'm saying? And just the fact that he felt, you know what, why not come on here and talk some shit? But I don't think he was malicious. I don't think Rashidi was being malicious. You know what I'm saying? Dude always smiling and shit like that. Have a good, you know, solid source of energy about him, you know?
Wait. This is his only win. This is his only notable win. He beat Alexis Rocha, the guy that my son just cooked, knocked the fuck out.
I beat him first.
That's who he is.
I beat him first. Okay.
You beat him, but this nigga demolished him. And my son came back and demolished him. Get the fuck out of here, bro. You ain't nobody.
I beat him first, though.
You ain't but you're nobody. You beat him. That's not us. Look how far that is away from us.
Yo,
there's levels to this shit, bro. My son don't care about you. My son would never. He wouldn't dare. My son don't care about you. He don't care about this.
How many fights you got?
Boom. 30.
It's because you said
30 fights.
See, this once again, my brother. Mill City. What you doing right here is a desecration of a body. For real, that Mill City. There might be some charges coming. For real. This is a desecration of a body. This dude is now asking the father of the fighter that he's trying to combat how many fights he got. Oh my God.
Anything else? Guess what? Because I'm transparent, motherfucker. Anything else you want to know? 30 fights, nigga. What?
Oh shit, bro.
I ain't ashamed of nothing I ever been through. What I've been through is what made him who he is. The world champion, youngest in boxing today. You know, something you couldn't do in 11 years, motherfucker. Couldn't even make it to that point.
God damn, Mill City. If you saw, look, I gotta show you exactly the way I'm thinking. Like, it's been the same shit, you know, on this YTC the last several days, and I say, man, I just can't do it. But I want to show you Mill City's expression. If you think I'm bullshitting on this cremation, this desecration of the body, you know what I'm saying? This desecration of a body, a corpse. Look, he doesn't even have any flesh left to go through the stages of rigor mortis. No. This is total decapitation. You know what I'm saying? Dismemberment. This is dismemberment. This is a closed casket, Rashidi. Please stay away. Go back into seclusion, man, until you come back and stunt. This is not what he needed. Let me show you Mill City's motherfucking look. How he looking on his face, dog. Look the way he looking on his face. You think I'm just exaggerating? You think I'm, just being a little bit over the top? Yeah. But this is a classic. You ready? This is a classic expression. Based on what I'm feeling, you cannot say I'm overdoing it. You can't say I'm overdoing it now. Hold on for a second. What the hell? Hey, you wrong, dog. That is his expression right there. Hearing this freaking, oh my God. Dog, when somebody's looking like that and not saying that, come on, bro. It is a time and a place. You know, this has became a freaking crime scene, that Mill City. This has became a crime scene long time ago. And it's based off pure facts. Pure facts. When you're talking about debating, this is where it gets a bit strange. When you start to see the fighters swell up and you're saying, damn, he ain't hitting him that hard, is he? Now he hitting it with facts, dog. And then you just see the damn disfiguration, you know what I'm saying? And everything going on. This the look you have. Look at Mill City. It's like, oh my God, nigga. Oh my God. This is gonna do great numbers. Hey, Mill City fucking roll for that, dog. He's sitting here looking at a goddamn murder take place, dog. He's allowing it to happen. Hey, you could have stopped further goddamn damage, injury. You know what I'm saying? You could have stopped this, bro. You could have been a public servant and you could have stopped. This is the homicide, bro.
Say something.
I'll do it next year, though. I'm gonna
do it next year. That's what everybody say. Motherfucker, been 11 years, old ass nigga.
I ain't everybody.
This nigga damn near my age. So I'm gonna do it next year.
I'll beat your son. I'll beat your son ass just like I'm his dad.
Guess what? You got to make it there. You can't even make it there. So whatever, bro. I doubt we ever see you because I'm not giving you no chance no more, motherfucker. So you'll never make it there. You'll never make it there. Just go from the bottom looking up. Ooh, I wish I'm gonna do this. Go from the bottom looking up, country ass nigga. Don't you ever come on and disrespect my boy like that. We ain't said nothing to you. My son ain't said nothing to you. He ain't said shit to you. He ain't addressed you nothing, nigga. Country motherfucker.
Yeah, keep it like that.
Oh, it's like that. What's wrong with you? It's like that.
Keep it like that.
It's like that.
Nah.
The fuck you gonna
Stop wrinkling your
do?
face like that,
What the
bro.
fuck you gonna do? Come pitter pat a nigga, slap him in the face or something? You gonna pitter pat us some shit? What the
I will stop it right there because it has went from friendly to unfriendly now. You know what I'm saying? But that was what you call a thrashing. You know what I'm saying? A cremation. That is where people showed up and they thought it was going to be an open casket, but the casket is not even in there to be viewed. The family's asking, this wasn't our wishes. Where's the body? Well, shit. He went live in between the time you all were supposed to show up, and it went from an open casket to a no casket. We're gonna bring him out in an urn. He's ashes right now, so hey, it's just the same as having a body. He's gonna come out with ashes. You know what I'm saying? I do apologize. This really, but we found him on live, and he could have been saved. He could have been saved, but due to Mill City's actions in allowing this homicide to continue, things got bad. And I wouldn't want you, ma'am, I totally apologize. I know that was your baby, but he chose to cover here and be a clouter at the wrong time, and it became dangerously factual very, very quick. We cannot do that again. Say no to clouters. You know what I'm saying? Say no to clouting and say no to clouters. You know, people use clouting, you know what I'm saying, too much. Let's go to the next one, though. Let's go to the next one. This is 903. Okay. WCS reactions to, you know, what certain individuals put out there. I thought he made some pretty solid points. This is 903 boxing.
Yeah, you was gonna be on an OTA and on the undercard of that shit. Nah, bro, you won and it was a great win and you became champion. But your stock didn't go up like that, bro. You've been an undercard fighter your entire career. Don't fucking get it twisted, bro.
Okay, so 903 is talking about Brian Norman being an undercard fighter his whole career. And the same could be for Boots. Just because he fought Albanesian. Like, these fighters are not really separated when you come to putting crowns on either fighter. When it comes to their resume, yes, they have over 20 professional wins. Boots have, you know, a little bit more in the basket. But at the end of the day, when you're talking about headlining fights consistently, no, none of them can say that they have bragging rights on that. You know what I'm saying? I know he's coming from, but if you're gonna lay heavy talking about, well, you've been an undercard, you know, your whole, it's a lot of fighters that's been on the undercard. If you're not the main event, you're on the undercard, right? You know, if you're the co-main attraction, are you the main event? No, you're the co-main.
You only do it when if Boots had a flag and he spoke a different language, you motherfuckers would be honored to fight him. You'll fight him for $150,000 if he had a flag.
I think 903 made a good point. If he had a flag to his name, either fighter, it'd be different. If that man was Russian, Filipino, and he grew up with Manny Pacquiao, and they trained together, and they have been noted to have a documented 200 plus rounds of sparring, you know what I'm saying, to prepare one another for the fights, yeah, they'll be all on board to fight that Filipino flag. Not to mention that green, white, and red. Oh my goodness. That green, white, and red?
Flag. Yeah. At this point, if Boots had a flag, and you know, I think Bud would be more interested because Bud excuse would be, well, Boot, he got a country behind him. That'll be the excuse if he had a flag and a different language, and he wasn't from Philly and he spoke a different language and his hair was a little more curly and he spoke a different language and he was light skinned and spoke some other shit. You motherfuckers would be honored to fight him.
I don't agree with that. Just looking at who Bud has fought, you know what I'm saying? I don't agree with that. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, Errol Spence, he had a flag behind him. It was the United States flag. You know what I'm saying? But all them other people that's on his resume, they didn't really have flags behind them. And then also you have to look at where the fight is going to be. where the fight is going to be, and does that country really turn out for their fighter? Does their fighter have a big name? What part of Bud's career is he in at this point to make, you know what I'm saying? Hey, it's always up for discussion.
So let me tell you something. I'm telling you, bro, Brian Norman, I'm so disappointed, bro. It ain't about finishing high school and having an education for me, because I met some of the smartest dudes in these streets that never went to school or none of it. But now, pimping, you sound like you fit the stereotype of a Southerner. That's how East Coast, but that's how they look at us. When they think of a Southerner, they look at you, bro. You talk, it's just you just not sharp, bro. I'm telling you, bro, Bill Haney will run circles with that Oakland talk. Yeah, that shit, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know, bro. You would have signed the first offer. Dolphin shit. That's why black folks can't do shit together. That's why I didn't go down there. I don't want to be around black folks. I just gotta be. You motherfuckers can't do shit right together.
Well, one thing about it is, when you want to talk about having a flag behind you, and you want to when you want to speak on different complexions, when you see other complexions doing what that complexion that you was birthed with, the darker complexion, is being criticized for doing, then you really should question the whole, translation on what's going on. If another, race does it and negotiate and just don't take it and go to purse bid, and they're celebrated. They're celebrated for standing on business. Ain't that what we say? Standing on business. But then you get two fighters, and just because we had a dead space in boxing, and everybody is just freaking anxious on the edge. You know what I'm saying? People are so antsy. They want to see a good fight. Oh, man, we still got Canelo. Canelo ain't till next month. Man, and then they just eager for anything to happen. They forget. Some of these people forget. They'll sit here and do live streams on other fighters who negotiated and what they want to, and they say, oh, that's standing on business. Boxing is a business. Yes. Great work to stand on business. Let it go to purse bid, goddammit. Stand on business. But then when they bored and they want to see a fight, and it's two champions on the division where we have millions of freaking streams on the champions who was there before at 147 to now, and all of a sudden WCS says, well, ain't nothing popping at 147 pounds. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody talking about 147 pounds. What's going on up there? Don't hear no Blair Cobbs. You know what I'm saying? And he got a mouthpiece. Norman just picked up. Don't hear nothing. Don't hear too much about who he's going to fight next. I said, Ennis is up there. He said when he get the belts, he's going to step on everybody. Haven't seen him step on a motherfucking snail with a shell. And then all of a sudden, the buzz arrives. The motherfucking heat comes from the bottom of the depths, and the surface start boiling over. And now we got Ennis Norman all over social media. I mean, everywhere you look. And the fight ain't happening right now? Well, guess what? I hope that fight happen sooner or later. If Boots is gonna move up, don't sit up here and have a title fight and you miss weight. And Norman is the only one fighting for a title. And then y'all, the consumers and the clouters want to come back and say, oh man, he was weight drained. He was Errol Spence all over again. I'm going to say, shut the fuck up. Because I know they are waiting in the shadows. They don't want to talk about it. But I'm telling you, if Boots wait too long, and he's I don't know how he's feeling, but it's a reason why he can't stay on the gas. He get to a point, and he's having a problem dropping weight. I'm telling you, those aerosexuals that's been in freaking ostracized and been in confinement ever since July 29, 2023, they're going to come back and talk, see, another black fighter. See what we do to each other? Another black fighter weight drain. Stayed in the division too long. Y'all better put the word out there. Y'all better let them know. You know what I'm saying? If you ran and raving about this particular fight, right? You need to make sure you put some good word in there, brother. Shout out to Captain Chaos with a $20 super chat. Lighting up the Trill Life of WCS. Much appreciated there, Chaos. The Wild Dog is in the building. Salute to you, brother. But that's where I'm at with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, come on, bro. Come on, man. You know, right now, people are just talking about what could have happened, what should have happened. My question to the chat is, if he was going into the backyard, I mean, how much credit do you give that? You know what I'm saying? Fighters always get credit. We have to understand, you know, WCS is gonna staple this shit, right? I'm gonna put a paper clip on it. When Errol Spence went over in Kell Brook's backyard, they was like, yeah, you a warrior. Yeah, go get him. Texas on deck. Texas on deck. When he went over there, they was praising him for going into Kell Brook's backyard. You know what I'm saying? It's been fighters that go over in backyard, you know, and have success. If you're going to go into someone else's backyard, what should happen with their praising value? Should that be something that's identified during negotiations? Also, you both champions, damn near leveled out with the big name fights that you have. You know what I'm saying? So there's really no separation. Shouldn't that come into play with, you know, neither of these fighters headlining an event multiple times on the big stage, doing some incredible numbers? You notice a lot of people are not even talking about this. See, the numbers that they want to talk about is what the numbers wasn't taken. We're not talking about the pay. I don't like talking about people's pockets. But let's talk about what the YTC love to mention in trying to prove their point. They always want to talk about pay-per-view numbers. Why not this? Why don't we have pay-per-view numbers? You know why? As a discussion. You know why? Because, you know, it was all good when Crawford and Spence was in the 147-pound division. That's all they want to freaking talk about in making a fight. And Crawford had way more accolades. But they continued to talk about pay-per-view numbers. So at the end of the day, right, when it comes down to this particular matchup, no one's talking about pay-per-view numbers. They want to talk about pockets. They want to talk about pockets, man. They want to talk about what somebody should have took and they ain't paying the bills. Now, the one thing I don't like coming from the Ennis side of the house is the fact that he haven't headlined. He know he haven't, you know, owned up and stood on his words and stood on business. He hasn't. He hasn't stood on business, bro. He hasn't freaking stood on business when it comes to what he said he was going to do when he picked up the belt. The way he picked up the belt and what we haven't seen since he had the belt. You know what I'm saying? He said he was going to step on him and do all that, but yeah, he couldn't stop Avanesian after they dogged him out for fighting Crawford. You know what I'm saying? For the Normans, this is the most free exposure that they ever gotten in his boxing career. Because I must go back to when he was going to supposedly be the face of BOK Prime. And you know, I would be the bigger guy being I was, you know, born down here and I have this Southern blood. I would publicly apologize, you know, to the boxing fans for y'all time being wasted and people trying to use, you know, a Southern boxer down here to my, I searched far and wide, every corner and crevice of every region to find a fighter to be the face of BLK. And hey, that's, we finally found him. I was saying to myself, God damn, somebody throw the red flag. So somebody throw a goddamn flash grenade. I guess this what he thought that was gonna happen back then. That particular guy. To get this much exposure, in my opinion, for a fight that's not happening, I think that earned more my dream off. I mean, people talking more about this fight than they doing Canelo and Edgar. Seriously. I mean, this is a fight that's not happening right now. And when you come to two black fighters, man, that's how you see the shifts, the ebbs and flows, man. Because the amount of press that they're getting is just unbelievable. Even though the septic tank of boxing, which is the YTC, they flush the toilets every day, they are defeated when it comes to making $1 million plus fights. They are defeated, period. They will never be undisputed at nothing when it comes to $1 million plus fights. And you know, they'll listen to the live and they'll criticize and they'll talk behind the scene. But listen, I'm not being nefarious. I'm not trying to be malicious with explaining myself, but man, the track record is, it's horrendous, bro. You're not gonna make any $1 million fights over here, and let this be a lesson to the next fight. Please don't put no money signs out there. You know what I'm saying? If somebody else does it, you know, from across the pond, then I guess it's free game. I guess that's where boxing's at, you know. When people are saying, no, they rejected the offer. Well, now you playing semantics. Because let's just say Eddie Hearn sent them 500 grand, right? And they said, no, we don't want five. And in reality, they rejected the offer. If you want to be petty. In reality, semantics, yeah, when you want to talk about verbal semantics and you know, freaking hiring a translator, is that really? Is it considered a rejection? So I'm not lying. When I get in front of the camera and say they turned down the fight, I'm a lying. Tell me, Mike, look at me am I lying? I'm not. That's what I thought, mate. You know, that's what I'm saying. Like, in reality, they did reject it. They turned down the offer. They rejected the offer. But when you have a counter, that means it is a carry-on. You know what I'm saying? Why am I sitting up here explaining shit when people turn it all upside down? You know what I'm saying? Like, people are saying, well, if they rejected us a second time, that's just too much. I mean, who are you to say, though? To some of y'all, that went over your head. It was good to hear, you know, it being broken down, you know what I'm saying, from AC himself on the percentages that had to be paid off. And I actually learned something. You know, at first when it was brought to my attention, you know, I didn't think that he had to pay for 2 sanctioning bodies. And then also, I wasn't fully aware when you're talking about crossing the street, because during the time that we was had this you know, this Crawford and Errol Spence protest going on, right, where they was kept on talking about, oh, he'll cross the street, he was cross the street. It was much different than this, because if Crawford wanted to come and fight Spence, they side wasn't complaining about crossing the street, you know what I'm saying, and all that. You really didn't hear that. So I learned something. You know, in order to cross the street, you got to pay a certain percentage, and then you know, it's a unification bout. You got to pay certain percentages on both sanctioning bodies. I already knew that, though, but I didn't know it in this case. I didn't know it actually was relevant for this particular fight right here. I thought he would have had to pay sanction fee for his belt. I didn't know he would have had to pay for, and you know, come to think about it, I did hear it way back when, but I just couldn't dial it in for this. In order for you to fight for both belts, of course, you know, you gotta, you know what I'm saying, you gotta pay that sanctioning fee. So you're talking about the WBO and the IBF, that whatever percentage they have to pay, that's money, boy. That's a lot of. When I heard you know, Adrian breaking that shit down, I say, God damn, boy, these boxers, bro. When you talking about taking care of all that and you got Uncle Sam on top of that shit too, fuck a pancake. Fuck flipping a pancake, dog. Jeez, man, you talking about just some slices of bread, goddammit. Put that motherfucker in a pan, heat it up, and throw some syrup. Fuck a pancake. Nigga, you ain't flipping shit that costs more money. You're on a goddamn forced diet. Your wallets are low, goddammit. All these freaking fees is coming out, and that's why people are doing so much freaking live streams on it. Because all people want to do is come up here and talk about what they would have did. 99.9% of the people who saying what they would have did are not in position. They're not attached to any team. They're not fighters. They might know somebody who's a fighter, but it still has nothing to do with this particular fight we're talking about. Nor has it to do with them having absolutely 0 hours or minutes when it comes to negotiating a fight. 0. 0. 0, 0, 0. Let me get to the chat right quick. Shout out to Mike in the building. Carlos on deck. Bud gonna stop Canelo. What's good? These goofy fans are now boxing promoters and managers. I'm sick of them. Shout out to my guy in the news by Shaw News Sauce Experience in the building. Team Tucker Fish on deck. He said, man, the YTC boxing scene been the no real fan zone making $1 million fights. Man, please, they don't even support real boxing. A lot of them don't support, the real boxing of the game. They talk about it. It's funny how, so many people have gathered all this remote experience. You ever figure that out, yo? I know we have technology, right? I know we live off cell towers and antennas and all that. We live off Wi-Fi, but listen how people take advantage of Wi-Fi. They are not getting up out their seats to go to fights. And they say, why would I work hard and not gonna work smarter? I don't have to go to no fights. I'm just going to build up all my education right here nestled in the crook and cranny of my home, garage, roof, front yard, backyard, basement, down the street, 7-Eleven, Walmart, Kmart, whatever mart I can find, back to the driveway, side of the house, front of the house, side, back, on the roof, in the neighbor's backyard. You know what I'm saying? In the garden. I mean, they say, hey, as long as I got my drink, you know what I'm saying? As long as I got my sippy cup, as long as I got my motherfucking weed, I can do what I want from afar. Why I want to spend money on a flight? Why? I can do everything from home. I'm working smart. The amount of super chats I'm going to lose covering a fight week. I can't do it. I can't put it in the budget. I can't do it. That's their mindset, y'all. That's their mindset. Real talk. D-Ray live on the drive in the building. What's good with it, D-Ray? The OG Bruce Gas, Boxing Jazz, and more in the building. What's good with it, Bruce? How you feeling, man? I think we did have something to do with Bud and Spence happening because Spence and James repeated all the BS the fans said. But check this out, though. I have to disagree there. I have to disagree with you because just because they repeated some language that they heard, the guarantee, we didn't see that coming. Nor did I hear anybody suggest that the guarantee with the concessions was going to be contractually signed upon and agreed. I didn't hear anybody believing that the guarantee was going to be that high. All they was doing, Bud don't Al Heyman ain't gonna do that. Al Heyman ain't gonna let him do that. Al Heyman. All we heard was Al Heyman and what he wasn't gonna do. No. Yeah, but you're right. You know, Diddy James and EJ was repeating, but guess what? It's plenty of boxers who repeat shit they see on social media, but that doesn't mean the fight happened. You know what I'm saying? I mean, just look at Frank Martin and Shakur Stevenson. When that fight was announced and all this, and then all of a sudden he pulls out and talking about he taking it through the ceiling. I told you what happened when you hit the ceiling, right? You come crashing back down to the floor. And that's exactly what happened when Tank hit him with that left hand. He hit the ceiling. He was already levitating. And Frank just said, and Tank came back around that left. It was over. You know what I'm saying? It would be good to take some credit for that fight. It was a memorable fight. But I would say with absolute integrity within myself, that the YTC didn't have not a goddamn thing to do with that Spence Crawford fight. All they did was run smear campaigns on one fighter and didn't give a damn about the other fighter because they was unsure about what fighter they was going to get. Just bad, just shiesty. Swat Jones in the building. What's good with it, brother? I want to see Boost versus Norman. Even more so now. I hope Eddie make that extra 500K happen. The Norman's asking for. That's a hell of a fight right there. I'm buying it if it happens. So you know what they did say was Sunday, right? They did say, right? So let me see something right quick. So there's no scheduled fight as of yet for Brian Norman. Excuse me. There's no scheduled fight. So we are tapping into the final hours, even though there's still 24 hours plus remaining. You know what I'm saying? There's only 3 hours exactly remaining until we approach Sunday. So if by chance from the buzz that they have witnessed and been a part of here on social media, obviously people want to see the fight. Obviously, right? So just what Swat Jones said, it will be absolutely great if a surprise could happen. But I'm just unsure. Just like they always have us dangling, man, you know, puppetizing us, freaking taking us through a whole goddamn shit show. This is no different. If they come out with some information, say, "Oh, we made it happen," I gave them boatload of money. I talked to Ennis. I said, Ennis, you know I'm out to, deduct some money off your pay, a couple of coins to make them Normans happy. Are you okay with that? It's not coming out my pay. I'm not taking a lower percentage. You're still gonna pay me. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it'll be good. It'll be a nice surprise. Real talk. It'll be a nice surprise. But some's telling me like I don't see the schedule bout up there with Cuevas yet. You know what I'm saying? He's still in the package store on the shelf. So if Eddie can somehow, I don't know how he's gonna do it. You know, he does be brushing elbows with Turkey Al-Sheikh, and you know it'll be good to somehow see that fight, man. Why don't you go ask Daddy? You know what I'm saying? Daddy Hearns. WTF did Norman do? What makes that fight so special? I mean, if you're saying what did Norman do, then you have to ask what did Boots do? Real talk. This is way above, being fans of either fighter. You have to ask the question and bilaterally. You know what I'm saying? It's a two-way freaking two-part question. What did either fighter do to separate themselves for you to ask that question? And they basically on the same freaking playing field. They're on the same freaking ring canvas. You know what I'm saying? All that. Legacy right now, all that. They pretty much leveled out at this point in their career. So So if you asking who's beat, I mean Casanova, the only thing I can do is like you need to do your own homework. I mean, I know you're asking a rhetorical question, but who did Boots beat? If you're asking who did Norman beat, yeah, okay, that's a fair question. Who did Boots beat? So you can ask that two-part question. Who beat who? Who stands out? When you come, like I said, I would give Norman performance over Giovanni more than I would give, Boots over Avanesian. And then if you're talking about free TV, let's not forget Tio fought a pound for pound fighter and Vasily Lomachenko, who was second on the pound for pound list on free TV. Do your homework, bro. Do your homework. You must not know Norman Jr. got a belt at 147. Boots and Bowsy say we're gonna clean out 147, move up to 154. Brian Norman ain't hearing that shit. That's why. Hey man, talk to him. Talk to him. Well said. Well said. You have to understand. Well said. They said they was gonna go for undisputed. So therefore, you have someone asking, and I don't have no problem. I mean, it's good to interact with the topic. He talking boxing, pugilist talking boxing. He ain't talking on no trolling shit. You know what I'm saying? But what Jones just mentioned is absolute fact. They did say they was gonna clean out the 147-pound division. So what does that entail? Since all the champions received their belt the exact same way, why would you come up with that narrative and say, who did he beat? Who did Boots beat to get the belt? Come on, who did he beat? They sent a dead-end letter to Crawford knowing he was locked in for a rematch with Errol Spence, and you come here talking about, who did Norman bring? All the champions up there received their belt the exact same way via notification. You have one notification. To access this notification, click the icon. Email accessed. Congratulations. You're a world champion. All of them. So he got the belt. Lots of fighters got belts. What do he do? I'm not going to go through that. Because, bro, you've been over here and you've been on other panels talking boxing. So this right here is no different in you understanding that it's pretty much a simple process. It doesn't require a lot of research. It doesn't require extensive amount of deductive reasoning. It doesn't. This right here, this matchup is simple. All the fighters received a notification belt from the vacate of Terrence Bud Crawford, who white gloved and became undisputed in the 147-pound division. Now you have 4 sanctioning bodies that's free. So if Boots, who became the first champion, if they put out the declaration that they was going to become undisputed, that was their manifesto. Why aren't you understanding what the manifesto consists of? Who is he to fight if he ain't gonna fight Norman? Like, how he gonna get the belt? I mean, didn't we go through this with Spence? Spence said when he beat Udinese Ugas, what did he say? Crawford, I'm coming for that motherfucking belt. What is Ennis gonna do? I'm just waiting on my team to get back with me. They trying to find a way that we can get Norman stripped of that WBO title. That's what we trying to do now, just like we did Crawford. I want to become the first champion who can pick up 3 belts without even stepping in the ring with a champion, because I know there's some loopholes in there. Goddamn. I'm going to exploit all those loopholes. Come on now. Pugilist, come on, man. You asked what was so special. I was just playing. A lot of folks want that one. Sorry you don't see the same thing, but I'm getting, if you don't know, I'm not going to catch you up. Can't catch them up. You can't. Expert genius in the building. You can't. First of all, Crawford just vacated the WBA title. Hughes, I've seen you in more complex topics before. But you see that Crawford just vacated the WBA, which the only other name that was out there was Stanthionis. Why would somebody be talking about fighting Stanthionis and nobody's talking about fighting Stanthionis. Aren't you trying to make some money? You know what I'm saying? Why would somebody be talking about fighting Stanthionis when nobody's talking about fighting Stanthionis? They're not even talking about Barrios, really. You know, Ennis mentioned him earlier, but of course, you know, Barrios just had his first child. So I don't know exactly when he's going to return. So if you're doing process of elimination, we have to search within the ranking system to see who's going to fight who. And if two champions going to, you know, start getting that torch lit to establish who's going to be on the higher pecking order, it has to start somewhere. I mean, if you believe so, I'm not here to debate and change your mind on what you believe that'll happen. I'm not going to do it, bro. You know what I'm saying? If you think they'll just take Norman's belt, okay, cool. I mean, cool, bro. I don't know, man. You know, my people, we're a special group of people for good reasons and bad reasons. You know what I'm saying? For good reasons and bad reasons. But I wouldn't want to be any other race besides what I am. That's a fact. I wouldn't want to walk around here any other dang shade of color than what I was born into this. Seriously. But you know, my people can be, you know, very complex at times, but on the other hand, they can be extremely freaking loving. But when it comes down to, you know, us making examples or giving opinions about dealing with one another, yes, there's an issue, and that's neither here nor there for this topic. Expert Genius say Team Boots and Eddie Hearn don't want to fight. It's a pattern with Eddie. So you know, being that Genius has mentioned this, it has been a pattern. You know what I'm saying? It has been a pattern to caveat off what Pugilist was talking about. I don't know what you haven't been reading, but other fighters have been complaining about Hearn sending them lowball offers. So therefore, you're talking about the business aspect of other fighters saying, "Oh, they getting lowball offers for Hearns," and then you're trying to convince people on what two other champions would do to Norman when you clearly seen Boots go in there and had a okay performance against Avanesian. A okay performance. Senior told Bozy that $2 million would make the fight, which Bozy admitted they were going to take the 1.5 in the fight was on a neutral site and not Philly. Eddie don't want to know. Good point. Good point. Good point. You know, like I always say, they always talk about boxing as a business until it's time to do business. And then, depending on who the business is being conducted on, that's a whole nother story where you have these boxing onlookers. They call them casuals, but the boxing temporaries, people who don't spend a full time, you know, they just temporary. They stop in and they come in, they out. They will tell you their side of when it comes to the money. Well, they'll start going, you know what? When I was in middle school, my parents praised me because they gave me $20. And you know, by the time I was graduating from high school, I still had that same $20. And though I didn't make any interest on it, I saved it when I could have spent it. And my parents told me, well, you're very good with money. And so they try to bring their ass on this freaking social media and start talking about, well, I'm going to tell you from experience. I'm really good with money. I mean, you want to talk about chief financial officer? Come on now. I can audit anybody's freaking bank account, tell them how to freaking save freaking $20 for years. I see it like this. If the Normans, if they're getting paid 30,000 times higher than what they ever made in their life just because they have a belt, man, that's crazy that they didn't take that. Because they have a belt. They should be grateful they just have a belt. They're not thinking logically. They're not thinking logically. You dare to be great. You take the pennies and hope for quarters next. So you take the pennies in the first fight and you hope the rematch is a roll of quarters. I mean, if you get enough roll of pennies, it's going to equal to the quarters anyway. Maybe not the amount you want, but it's gonna equal to some quarters. So in a rematch, you can think about quarters. You know, it don't take 4 quarters to make $1. So you know how many quarters it takes to have. See, I'm good with this motherfucking numbers now. They be trying to break down what somebody should have took, why they didn't take it, and they love mentioning the duck word. I swear, as much as I hear people talk about ducking, it make me believe their parents, when they took them on them zoo trips, when they looked around, their parents was gone. They left them at the zoo for a reason, because they got on their motherfucking nerve. They might have left them by the duck pond. This is how they set them up. They brought some breadcrumbs, in a Ziploc bag from home, because people love feeding ducks because you can just throw the bread out there and they come up there. That's where they left your ass at, on the motherfucking bank feeding them ducks. And when the bread ran out, you looked around, your parents was gone. When people use the word duck too often in boxing, it has no value anymore. Because now you just, it's a duck, it's a duck, it's a duck. But you're not even factoring in what expenses need to be paid, where the fight is, everything that their team is talking about, unless it comes out to the public. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people on here that was educated on why this fight didn't happen as of yet. They won't admit it. They won't admit it. Because they think since they went through the Crawford Spence era, they heard everything that they need to hear. But they still can't explain to you how Crawford was able to get Spence to put $1 million concession in there based off a handshake bet in Oklahoma when Spence limped in with 100,000 and Crawford said, let's bet $1 million. How did he get that put into the concession? How did Crawford get a freaking coin flip put in the concession? How? Since they know everything. It's too many people thinking, okay, I've seen everything I need to see. I'm an expert. And then they run into this situation. And all they saying is, well, he got a belt. Eddie Hearn was giving him, 17,000 and 42 million and 6,200,000 million. I mean, I wasn't good at math, but you know what I'm talking about. More than he ever made in his freaking career. He should have just took the fight, man. He should have just took the fight. What about all the expenses? What if, out of the 1.5, he only getting 250. Man, that's 250 more than he had. Come on, man. Boxers can't be choosy, dog. See, they don't care. Fans don't fucking care. And look, just like you see these boxers, they taking a different stance, so to speak. You had Shakur Stevenson, and I think you had Keyshawn Davis that said, you know what, F the fans. You know what I'm saying? And it's a tricky situation because they can say F the fans because they spend too much time paying attention to what fans are saying. And look, it's no way that you're going to decipher who's a fan and who's not just because they have a social media account and they comment on something. It's people out here that don't even fucking watch boxing. They may come over here and freaking see a boxing topic, and then they may get on there and troll and say something fucked up just so they can have a fighter respond to them. We've seen that a lot in the Bud and Spence era, where you had individuals on here doing a video on Bud every other day on some negative shit and lies. So for them two, Shakur and Keyshawn, to say they're done with the fans, hey, this is a perfect example on why fighters say, I'm not fucking with. I don't think it's right, but you do have some fans out here that say dumb shit for effect, and they don't care nothing about boxing in general. So they'll sit up here and believe, hey, so-and-so should have took it. Ain't no excuse. He should have took the money. It's more than what he made. But yet, I'll use the Tiafimo example because it's kind of relatable to this, this recent era. Oh, right there, that was different. When people go over here and talk about who has they fault and all that, who had Teofimo fault? He fought Masayoshi Nakatani for title eliminator. Yeah, he 8-0, he's undefeated. But Richard Comey had losses already, good guy. But he knocked him out in 2 rounds. Okay. Now he goes up here and fight Vasily Lomachenko, who's on the pound for pound list, 2-time gold standard champion via the Olympics. The golden child of boxing. And how dare Teo negotiate his pay? How dare he? And he only had 15 professional fights, yo. Only 15 professional fights. And he was able to negotiate a higher freaking purse for Vasily Lomachenko. Teo has never even smelt the pound for pound list before that fight. So why wouldn't they take a freaking, a business stance, Adrian, and say, no, we're not taking no pennies. We ain't no run down junkyard Sanford and Son freaking agency. Why should we sit up here and say, oh, after that you getting, 800,000? Be satisfied. Sit down. Learn how to take less money. Shut up. Be broke. Get used to it. Get used to being broke. You still young. You're 23. You'll be able to make another paycheck. That's what you hear from the fans, man. They don't care. They don't care, bro. Look, they don't care, about advocating for you like it's, your opening argument, like you in court. Like, they don't care. Because at the end of the day, you making more money than them. They'll never see that type of money. But yet they get on here and fake the fun. WCS don't know how much money I make. I make the same, man. That's small money. That's small money. Okay. Who am I to prove you any different? You know what I'm saying? Norman Jr. fought for a vacant title while Boots got a title handed. Hey. Bro, listen. All them titles, when it came down to it, was Crawford's titles. Now that the champions have the titles, it will be good for the first 2 champions to unify so we can at least see it happen. You know what I'm saying? So we can at least see it happen. And I forgot their genius. I stand corrected. I thought he received it via notification. I kind of forgot. Let me see. I didn't see vacant on there. That's why I'm saying he was elevated. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't say vacant. It doesn't say vacant on there. You know what I'm saying? Usually they'll tell you if a title is vacant. That WBO interim world welterweight title, it doesn't say it was vacant. I could have sworn, he was elevated to champion before he had that Giovanni fight. Like I said, I don't proclaim to know everything about boxing, but I do pay attention every now and then. When Eddie is confident in his fighter's chances, he overpays. Martin made $250K versus Glasgow. Eddie paid him 8.6 in the next fight for AJ because he believed AJ chances. Hey, Genius, very, very solid point. And everybody knows not to bring up old tales, but he is right for the big paycheck where they said Martin took a dive. A lot of people still to this day, I always tell people to go back to the fight with Andy Konoski where they was talking about, hey, yeah, Charles Martin, he was champion, but he got that huge payday. And, it's been noted that a lot of people believe he took a dive in that fight because That was the most money he ever made. You know what I'm saying? Good point. Good point. Good point, man. Good point. Solid point. Real talk. Solid point. You know? But let's see how it all works out at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Let's see how it all works out. Let me let me bring up some other, tweets, before I forget. This one is in my opinion solid news. I'm glad it's happening. We may not have gotten the Norman Ennis fight yet, but Hobson Conceição, which a lot of people felt that was a robbery, versus Shaki Foster rematch is reportedly now set for November 2nd in New York after the controversial decision in their first WBC super featherweight world title fight. I'm glad this fight is happening. You know what I'm saying? Shaki Foster, what he did to get the title was commendable, and he should have been given a fair opportunity to defend it against Hobson Conceição, who became the pretty much Sergey Dariunchenko. He's about to become a Sergey Dariunchenko now. I'm just being honest. He's about to become the Danny Garcia, in the welterweight division. Like I don't use that per se, but I'm just saying, like, he was having his opportunities to win the title. You know what I'm saying? Being in there, fighting against Oscar Valdez, in there with Shakur Stevenson. He's had his opportunities, but to win it like this, controversial, he now has to go in there and prove that he deserves to win this title. He has to go in there and prove that he deserved to win it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he can call himself a world champion right now. Yes, indeed, for real. Also, another tweet. Canelo Alvarez has insisted that a Terrence Crawford fight will still happen next, despite Crawford versus Sebastian Fundora being ordered. I'm not saying that the fight can't happen. That order doesn't matter. Whatever Canelo is talking about right now about him going back and forth, playing that little table tennis that he loved with people's emotions and stuff. One minute, he gets nothing from Crawford. The next minute, he's telling people that, hey, it'd be easy work. And then he tells somebody, I don't like fighters like Crawford because they're movers. Then turn back around and say, I don't know. We'll have to see. I don't really like to fight him, but he'll be easy money and all this other, just back and forth emotionally, just playing freaking tennis with the fans, bro. So whatever this fight, whatever the next few weeks bring to us with Sebastian Fundora and Terrence Crawford, we'll see. And then, of course, a lot of people are looking forward to Alvarez going in there against Berlanga, and the results is as they may. Real talk. If you're trying to tell me this Berlanga fight is going to be like a Buster Douglas, Mike Tyson type of affair, an evening extravaganza of upsets, you ain't going to convince me. You ain't going to convince me. That's all I'm saying. You're not going to convince me. Forget that. I can't do it. I can't do it, yo. I can't do it. Real talk. I cannot do it. I can't do it, man. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're gonna watch the film and see what they could do better. That's gonna be a very good scrap, bro. That fight was such a back and forth regarding the word robbery. It's rematch worthy of sure. I'm excited. Well, I just felt that you're right. I'm gonna say it. You know, I'm going to recant. I'm going to recant because you do make a good point. I will recant. Um, it wasn't a robbery, but I thought that Oshaki Foster did enough to win the fight. Obviously, you know that's what I thought. It wasn't such a landslide that he was dominating Conceição. You know what I'm saying? There was a lot of areas in there where he was being defensively guarded. You know what I'm saying? His hand offensively active. You know, but I agree with that. I agree. You know what I'm saying? I, I retract that. House of the First or two gonna be dope. Yeah, for sure, for sure. But hey, man, shout out to the hottest chat in the MFN game, man. Salute to y'all. And once again, shout out to you know, Wild Dog for that donation. Anybody who selects to donate to the channel on their own free will, that is my Cash App. Or you can donate via YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Until next time, man. Whatever the topic is, you know WCS is gonna bring it. You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate everyone who supports the channel, as always. Be sure to, and I'm out.